Yeah, you guys can film it. He's eating a donut while I'm answering your question.
Drinkwitz, very relaxed.
Well, Eli, when you watch the film and study what you guys did, what anything different from what your initial impressions were after the game?
Yeah, anytime you watch film, you find flaws that you didn't see just right there on the initial viewing. But I thought in the first half we played pretty well. Ryan had a turnover there, and that fourth down in the red zone, those hurt us. Obviously, both of those were opportunities to score. In the second half, just lack of execution. Really that's what it came down to. I had several drives get started and then stalled out, and then missed a shot, had a fumble, and so those are execution things. Those are things that can easily be corrected if they're corrected, and that's what we're working on this week. And so hopefully we'll get those fixed.
I know Harsh was talking about, you're obviously in a new role, Lee's in a new role, even Rid's in a new role. How did that kind of go as an offensive staff, and what did you guys learn kind of first game together in all those roles?
We've been practicing those scenarios with different scrimmages and all that stuff, but until you're in the fire and things are live, it's always a little bit different. And just like players, as a coach, you got to be better from week 1 to week 2, and all of us saw things that we have to improve on.
Coach Russell was saying, first down, you guys are getting kind of behind the chains because you weren't doing much on first down in the second half of the time. So how tough does that make it when first down doesn't go well and you're in 2nd and 9 or 3rd and 8, that type of stuff?
Yeah, it's not easy. It's not easy for sure. And we had the first 2 drives in the third quarter, we came out and threw the ball and hit both of them on first down, and actually got, or maybe in the first one of it was either the first 2 out of the first 3 drives, and hit the first one and got the first down, and then the next play we stalled out, and so we just got to continue to execute, and got to do a good job of getting on the perimeter a little bit more and finding different ways to do that. But we ran the ball pretty effectively in the first half. We just got to continue to find ways to do that in the second half, and once you hit that first down, we got to continue to pick up the tempo, and we did that pretty good in the first half. Second half just wasn't good enough.
The 3 running back kind of getting all those guys involved. Did you like how that went, and do you think that's going to be a weapon for you guys to have multiple guys that you can throw in there?
Yeah, I was impressed. I thought all 3 played pretty well, ran the ball really hard. Devin Demas actually did some really good things and earned the right to continue to see the football field. And so, yeah, we were pleased.
I don't kind of talk about Devin, but what did he kind of show in that game? I mean, he's got a nice little change of direction and burst to him.
Yeah, he's got good speed, and he hit it in the middle several times and had a couple of explosive runs. So, yeah, he did a nice job.
Was it kind of important for him to earn more reps, but showing you can run like that?
Yeah, I think so. I think anytime you do it in the game, it's always good, and put it on tape and let us get back and chew on it a little bit.
What have you seen from BYU?
Oof. Physical up front, real long, big. Similar to UW in the fact that their edges are really long. Their nickel's 6'3". They got a defensive end that's 6'7". Linebackers are very active. Secondary is very active. They play very hard. They run to the football. It's going to be a tremendous challenge.
Back to your first game. You guys had that 4th down call early in the second quarter where you guys were up 13-0. You don't get the first down. How does that decision get made? How does that go as your first game as OC between you and Harsin? How does that go down?
That's a great question for the head coach. He makes game decisions, and then we go from there.
With Ryan, I know that you guys had, before the first game, said that you didn't want him to be anybody else. You wanted him to be Ryan Finley. Did he kind of stay in his role, obviously, and do what you guys asked him to do for the most part in his first collegiate start?
Yeah, I thought so. There's, when you go back and watch the film, obviously there's things you wish we did differently, and he knows those. You can't throw the ball where it's not supposed to be on interceptions, and took a bad sack in the third quarter when we were in our own territory. But I thought he did a nice job, pushing up in the pocket. A couple of very big scrambles. The very first first fourth down call of the game, they tried to play a little bit soft cover 4, and he did a nice job pushing up and got the first down. He's going to continue to get better, and there's no doubt in my mind. I know he wishes that he had that throw back to Chaz and would have gave him just a little bit better throw. And so, if we get that, we had a shot to Thomas in the second quarter that, was open that, for whatever reason we didn't hit. So those are things we got to work on. But, anytime you're above 60% completion, you got a chance, and he was. And so we felt good, and he'll get better. He's not a finished product, but he's 1-0.
Do you remember where the one to Thomas was that down the red zone? Or?
No, this is about the 45-yard line.
Okay.
We were on the left hash. It may have been the
Did we
second.
turn the other way, or
Huh?
is it the one we got spun around by the side?
Yeah, Thomas. Yeah, just want a good throw.
You mentioned the size of some of those guys, Kafusi, I'm not sure how
Yeah.
to pronounce it, but
I'm not-
what
don't
do you
ask
see
me.
there on film?
What do I see?
Yeah, with him.
Yeah, he's a different guy. He's playing defensive end. He was a real factor against Nebraska. They had a really tough time blocking him. He's very active in the run game. He's got a very good first step, quick hands in the pass game. It's tough to block him. And he's a large human being. So it's going to be a challenge.
Coach Harsin said after the game, hey, we don't have that fifth-year starting quarterback. We don't have Jay, and this is a different team this year. And you made the comment, hey, you don't just go out there and blow everybody out. That's not how it works. Matt, could you just expand on that, and maybe just how nice was it to have a game and now have film, and also just to see what you have and be able to kind of use that moving forward?
Well, hey guys, nobody wanted to win that game 100-0 worse than me, but games never go the way you expect them to go, and there's all kinds of ups and downs and ebbs and flows. And Coach Harsin talked to our team about having grit, and that's what I think we showed. You got to put all the pieces together, and there were spots in that first half. I mean, we were pretty good. There's no other way to say it. And there were parts in the second half we were pretty bad, and so you got to be consistent. But a lot of us on this staff have been around some really good football teams, and you have to be able to find ways to win close games, and especially early. And once you do that, you get confidence. But it's not like we were playing a bad football team or a level below us, a 1AA or anything like that. We're playing a Pac-12 team. So, for us to come out with a win was the most important goal. Now, could it have been different score? Absolutely. And do we have the expectation that we've got to execute better? 100%. 100%. Nobody's sitting there patting themselves on the back. But you got to tell those guys that the goal of the game was to win it, and they did. And so the manner in which we did it wasn't pretty at times, but I saw something. We had 270 yards stinging at halftime, and that's a pretty good sign. We just second half we got to get better. I got to do better. Our players got to do better, and if we do that, we're going to be fine. If we don't, then we're going to struggle.
You mentioned putting all the pieces together, though. How nice, just to have that game, and now you can see how the running backs work, and you see what.
Yeah.
How does that help going forward for you?
Well, you kind of get a feel for what everybody's strengths are and how they're going to react, and so now we just put the pieces together. But yeah, it's great to see tape and see how people react. I thought, there were some really good blocks by our tight ends, and yeah.
Looking at the tape, what have you seen out of your wide receiver group?
Thomas Spurbeck and Chaz Anderson and Shane Williams-Rhodes are very proven wide receivers, and they'll continue to get better. There's nobody more disappointed in a couple of those drops than those guys, and there's nobody more disappointed in missing those throws than the quarterbacks. So, all this, there's a lot of talk about they didn't throw a touchdown pass or whatever. If we would have ran for 5 touchdowns, nobody would have said anything about it. It's about doing what you got to do to win the game, and those guys are going to get opportunities, and those guys are going to continue to be better and produce and all that. But we've got 3 very solid guys. We've got 4 tight ends that are very solid in the pass game also. And now it's about getting those next 3 and 4 guys in the wide receiver room to step up and make catches in big games. But you know, those 3 guys are proven. I mean, Thomas Burbeck's the bowl game MVP. So Shane Williams-Rhodes had a lot of catches 2 years ago and proven playmaker, and Chaz is a tremendous deep threat. So we'll get all on the same page, and we'll go from there.
You look at those tight ends, and you guys use a lot of them in a lot of ways on Friday. And then another thing, Jake Russ said that he wanted to improve as a blocker during the season, and it seems like you got up to a pretty good start in those regards.
Yeah, he had some real blocks, and he did a nice job blocking down the field and controlling the perimeter, and he played a really all around. I thought he played a pretty good game. But those guys are good, and yeah, we try to use our tight ends and playing a defense that allowed us to do that, especially in the first half. Those guys were the keys to those drives. I think the first drive we scored was like 16 plays, 96 yards. I mean, that's tough to do. So that was good execution. Just got to do it in the second half.
2 more guys.
Same position, Holden. I know coaches have said he had a good fall camp, and obviously showed up out there the other night. Where do you see the difference with him this fall?
He's healthier. I think that's the biggest difference. And he's a 5th-year senior that had has a lot of experience, game experience. I mean, he's been playing for a long time here, and anytime you have game experience and you're healthy, you're going to be effective. And he's a really good football player.
Going
Last
against
one, guys.
Bronco Mendenhall this week, he's got a very good defensive reputation. What stands out about sort of his scheme or the way he coaches his defense?
Those guys play extremely hard for him. That's the number one tell, and they run to the football, and that are well coached. He's aggressive. He does a good job of keeping people off balance. Does a good job mixing his scheme. But the biggest thing is he's a good football coach, and those players play very hard for him. And so it's going to be a very difficult task going into that stadium and that environment on the emotional high they're on right now, and we're going to have to find a way to match their intensity.
Thanks, Eli. Thanks, guys. Got donuts over here.